I didn't think that listening to this podcast could actually be risky. But last week I got the most unexpected message from one of you. One of the listeners, she told me that listening on the Clarity episode for at least a third time and while driving, she got so caught up in reflecting on one of the questions, so that she completely lost track of both the speed limit and time. So yes, she ended up being pulled over by the police and given a speeding ticket. Now, she was definitely laughing when she told me, and yes, I laughed with her. It's one of those oddly comical stories that sticks with you. And I know I definitely will carry it with me going forward with a big smile. But here's the thing. What really struck me was why she had been drifting off like that. She was stuck on one of those questions because she realized that there were more answers for her to uncover. And that's also why she has now become a new client of mine, wanting to explore her clarity and the way forward even more deeply. For that, I feel nothing but humble gratitude, because that's exactly my aim with this podcast, to support you and your life journey, to gain clarity, to grow confidence, and to lead more from who you truly are. And maybe, yes, maybe, that's also a reminder that clarity isn't always about speeding up. Sometimes it's about slowing down enough to notice the signs along the way, so you don't miss your own direction. Over the past few episodes, especially with my guests, I have been hearing many different perspectives on what confidence actually is, or how to define it. Hussein, for example, he stresses that for him, confidence is something that comes over time. He links it to choice, to learning and building confidence through action. Tom and Caroline, on the other hand, well, they spoke more about that confidence is something that you already have. You have it within. Where Caroline stated that it's something that you're born with, but that can get lost and buried as we grow up. So, it really is maybe a chicken and the egg question. What comes first, confidence or experience? Listening to these views has also made me reflect a bit more about my own definition. What makes me feel confident or not? Do I really need to do something first in order to have confidence?
I'm Hanna Saxmy, your leadership coach, and this podcast is your confidence boost in color. Let's go.
As an NLP master coach, part of my work is built on some key assumptions about how people function and grow. So, for example, when I meet someone, I have the assumption that everyone already has the resources they need to succeed and grow. And I also assume that behind every behavior, there is a positive intention, even if the strategy doesn't serve us anymore. And if one person can do something, it's definitely possible for others too. These are the assumptions that shape how I coach, but also how I lead myself, because they open up possibilities. They help me to create such a vivid sense of future direction that it feels as though I've already been there. Just like that elite athletes who visualize themselves standing on top of the podium at the Olympics, long before they even qualified. So, if confidence could be measured, let's say it's like measuring light in lux, what would your confidence lux level be right now? And here comes today's reflection. Are you simply reflecting back the light that's already are around you, or are you the light source shining your own clarity and confidence into the room? Recently, I was reminded of something powerful. When I'm at a really high level of confidence, I truly shine. I don't always notice it myself. What I feel inside is simply a strong conviction that things will work out, one way or another, and that I will reach the direction I'm heading towards. How exactly? Well, that part I might not always be clear on around that time. But when the how also falls into place, that's when I really shine. I'm part of a couple of masterminds, and several times after I have been sharing something that I truly, really want, that comes from me and from my passion, something that I'm working on or even struggling with, people have given me the same kind of feedback. It might sound strange, but they said that, Hannah, when you talk about this, you absolutely lights up. It's not a question of if this will happen. It's only a question of when. And some have even told me that my conviction boosts their own confidence too. One of those moments happened a few years back. I'd just come home from a Sunday service where I'd led a leadership workshop on listening. I was full of energy. This is the kind of work I love, and supporting other leaders. But slowly and with increasing intensity, I felt a rather severe stomach pain. At first, I thought it was something I had been eaten. I tried to rest, but it only got worse. By 7 o'clock in that evening, I realized I wouldn't get much sleep and wouldn't manage my meetings the next day. So I reported in sick, saying it was due to stomach pain. And that was fully true. For me, though, it felt really hard to take the sick day because of a stomach ache. But the reality was I simply wasn't functioning. Just a few minutes later, I got a call back from the healthcare service. A nurse started asking me a few questions. And by the third question, I was in tears. The truth was that my pain wasn't just physical. Her question helped me to uncover the other answers too. She changed the note from stomach issues to work-related stress. That 10-minute call left me not only feeling seen, but also genuinely listened to and equipped with a clear next step. And here's the strange thing. As I hung up, I noticed the stomach pain beginning to fade. I was even hungry again. A few days later, driving home from a doctor's appointment with a long sick leave ahead of me, I joined my mastermind group. I spoke openly about how I was feeling, partly relieved of finally have time to rest and step into a work silence, but also deeply uncertain about what would come next, especially around work, because in many ways my life felt aligned with the direction I wanted to go, but work was completely out of balance. When I finished speaking, I felt quiet. And that's when I got the feedback I never forget. Hannah, when you talk about this, you truly shine. I haven't seen this in you for a very long time. I can see and I can hear you that you know where you want to go. It's not a question of if, only a matter of time and resources. You need to give yourself space to gather strength and also let go of what isn't yours to carry. And that phrase, you shine, that truly stayed with me. And last week, when I was reflecting on this and similar occasions, another story came to mind. Actually, a story from the Bible, where Peter stepped out of that boat onto the stormy Sea of Galilee. But this time, instead of Peter walking there, it was me. It felt heavy, wet, and cold. Like I was sinking at times, with waves crashing all over around me. But still, I had stepped out of that boat because I had the confidence that it was possible. And here's what I realized. In those mastermind conversations, when I spoke about what I wanted to create, I wasn't focused on the circumstances or the setbacks. I was speaking from my direction, from my vision. So what about you? Right where you are right now, where is your focus? Is it on the circumstances or on the waves that is crashing around you? Or is it towards your direction, towards your vision? So that is why I keep coming back to the confident framework. Because when you're leading and acting in a world that feels stormy, we need different ways to both hold on and to boost our confidence. Sometimes it's about reminding myself why this matters, what makes me to do what I do, that's clarity. Other times it's about ownership. Instead of slipping into passivity and thinking, well, that's not my problem. Someone else needs to fix that. That might be partly true, but what can I take ownership of? What can I clarify or strengthen in my role? And then that's the nurture. In my own story, I hadn't balanced recovery for a long time, and it hit me back hard with a sick leave as a result. In an organization, imbalance can mean people resigning and leaving, which only makes the storm grow stronger. And then there's the next step. Sometimes we want to leap too far, and we simply don't have the energy to sustain it. What creates real movement is making the step as small as possible, just enough to move forward, and then take another small step. Every part of the confident framework, each letter is like a set of keys on your keychain, or switches on our mixing desk. Each one offers a way to unlock, to boost, and to strengthen confidence in your leadership. If you and I were sitting down together today, my curious question to you would be, what are you truly proud of right now? What's going really good? Tell me. I want to hear. And I also want to hear about what you long for, what you're striving towards. What do you want really to experience going forward? If you were that elite athlete I mentioned earlier, maybe you'd say, oh, I want to stand at the Olympics on the very top of the podium with a heavy medal around my neck. In front of me, my nation's flag is waving. Thousands of people are singing the national anthem with me. And the sound and the crowd is thundering. The tears of joy are streaming down my face. That sense of excitement and fulfillment. So tell me, I want to hear your longing. And then, what are the most important steps to get there? What would you do differently compared to today in order to come there? And what support might you need? If you look at the confident framework, which part feels as a bit low on energy right now? And where would be a good place to turn up the volume just a little to amplify your confidence? And if part of that is strengthen your confidence along the way, and you like to help from a coach, then do reach out. It doesn't have to start with a speeding ticket to make that contact. So as we close this conversation, let me leave you with this thought. Right now, where you are you simply reflecting back the lights that already is around you because your confidence feels shallow at the moment? Or are you the light source shining your own clarity and confidence into the rooms that you are entering? If it was possible to measure your confidence like light in lux, what would happen if you turned it up just one level? What would you do differently? What would you know or even stop doing? What would you learn? Or if you prefer to think in terms of temperature, right now, are you a thermometer only measuring what's happening around you? Or are you a thermostat setting the level with intention? That's the power of confident leadership. And before we wrap up, it truly means a lot to me when you leave a comment, a rating, or choose to follow this podcast. It definitely helps more people to find these conversations, and it gives me the energy to keep creating them for you. You also find my contact details in the episode description. So if you want to reach out, whether it is to share your reflection or to explore coaching, I'd love to hear from you. Next time, we explore what happens when confidence calls in sick. When I don't want to or don't know how to, or simply don't see any chance of moving towards the goal or direction I've set for myself or for the team I'm leading. But that's next time. Until then, be confident, be you.
Confidence starts inside of you.